When should I use the included bass port plugs and why? What are the advantages of this? With all of Dynaudio speakers with a port, we generally include a foam plug that you can put into the port to close the port. So why do we do this? Mainly it's because when you put a speaker close to the wall, you will get more boomy bass. So if you have to have the speaker close to the wall, you can close the port, which will decrease the amount of bass coming out of the loudspeaker. And then that changes the relationship between the speaker and the wall, so you can put it closer to the wall. There's actually another reason to do this is if you have your speaker in a bookshelf where the back of the speaker is kind of enclosed between, behind books or other things on the shelf, I would definitely say plug the port. Try out how that works, because that's most likely going to sound better than having a port that's halfway sealed. Another interesting reason there might be to plugging the port is if you have a subwoofer, especially if you have an AV receiver and you're doing a crossover between a subwoofer and a loudspeaker. The phase of a sealed box speaker is more even, the sound rolls off more gradually, and you have a very simple phase response that's easier to integrate with the subwoofer. The phase relationship between the speaker and the subwoofer really determines how well these two blend together. So very often if you want an easier integration with the subwoofer, start by plugging the port, because with the subwoofer you don't need the bass output from the speaker anyway, so making the sound from the speaker be more smooth will end up in a better result once you integrate everything. How does the port function and why is it there? That's a really good question. Basically what the port does is it adds extra output below the response of the woofer itself. If you imagine the response of the woofer goes lower and lower in frequencies, at some point it starts to roll off. It's not able to play those lower frequencies. So what you can do is you can put in an organ pipe, essentially, is what we're doing. The port has a resonance frequency. If you imagine blowing into a bottle of water, you will have a specific frequency playing. The length and the diameter of the port determines that frequency. So what we do is we tune that frequency to be just below where the woofer itself rolls off. Then the port actually helps the woofer gaining some output at frequencies where it's not as efficient. So those two combined will extend the bass into lower frequencies. So that makes the loudspeaker more efficient. You could also put it like this, that you are not only getting sound from the front of the woofer, now we are utilizing the sound from the back of the woofer also, and together with the tuning of the port, using that to extend the bass into lower frequencies. You could use it also to just extend output, but only in certain frequencies. So generally in hi-fi speakers you would use it to give a flat response as low down in frequencies as possible. That makes the most efficient speaker, but again, once you place the speaker in a room or you mix with a subwoofer, you have some different properties you might want to achieve in the loudspeaker, which is why sometimes it's beneficial to actually plug the port.